Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. So what I got today is my Owl of the Month painting right there. So I'll be doing that for you today. And of course, the month is June. So I've incorporated some things of June into that owl there. So now I'm just showing you what other owls of the month I have done. That was March. This one is April. And then I have done May. And then the next one, of course, which we'll be doing today is June. So if you want to see any of those other owls, I do have videos for them. Just look for Owl of the Month and whatever month you want to watch. I don't have them on a playlist or anything. Maybe I will do that. I'll add them to a playlist. So what I'm starting out with is a cold press watercolor piece of paper, 6x6, and I already have the drawing sketched out on my paper. I did that beforehand. Basically, it's just kind of like a big sun with a owl sitting on a branch, and the branch is going to be kind of twisted with some honeysuckle vine. And what I'm doing right now is using masking fluid to mask out the vine, because I'm going to be going over that area with color, and I want to kind of preserve those whites. So as you can see, I masked out the vine, kind of used like just kind of wispy curly turns, kind of thinking of how a vine would be on a branch. So now I am going to be wetting my paper, and as far as colors go, I'm going to be using 6 different colors, and I'll tell you what colors they are as I go, and I will also put them in the description. So the first color that I'm going to be using for the big sun is a color by Van Gogh, Dusk Pink. And it is a granulating color. And it's kind of an interesting granulating color. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a moon or a sun. So, you know, since it is the summer solstice in June, I decided to go ahead and do the sun, but kind of make it like the moon, you know, dark, and I put like a dark sky with some stars and stuff, but in the shape of a sun, just to be a little different. So I am going to be using some other Van Gogh colors today, and then I'll also tell you what they are as we go. Since it is a granulating color, I'm trying not to mess with it too much, because I've noticed with granulating colors, they do best when you don't mix other colors with them. Maybe drop salt or water in on it to create blooms or something like that. Seems to work best, in my opinion, with granulating colors. I did kind of mess with this though. Maybe a little bit too much, you'll see, but I still like the way it turned out. So this first step here is wet on wet, as you can see. And I just went around the owl with the water and then added the watercolor to it with the granulating color. And like I said, I will be putting all my colors in the description. Then I decided to add some salt, just to add a little bit of texture. And then I wanted to go with the background, with the sky, a darker, some kind of dark color. So what I did is I took ultramarine blue, and I actually mixed it with that dusk pink that I used for the sun. I know I just said it's not, you know, best just to leave alone, but I wanted to kind of incorporate that color in with the sky, with the dusk pink in with the sky. So I decided to mix the dusk pink in with the ultramarine blue, and I'm glad I did, because it turned out to be a really pretty color in my opinion. And it goes well with that, with the sun color. So that ultramarine blue is not Van Gogh color, that is Qor, which ultramarine blue by Qor is one of my favorite ultramarine blues. So then I went ahead and decided to go down below there, bring that ultramarine blue down below. I didn't want to make it too dark down there because I'm going to be going back over that with the vine. But I did want to put some of that blue. So then I'm taking my dagger brush and I'm outlining kind of the sun there with used ultramarine blue, mixture of ultramarine blue and the dusk pink. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with my video because it's going so fast when I'm talking. Okay, so now that the sun was dry, so I went ahead and did a wash of another Van Gogh color, Quinacridone Rose. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more bright, so I took Quinacridone Rose, went over that, and then I decided to use some Permanent Lemon Yellow, and that is also by Van Gogh, and I'm dropping bits of permanent yellow, lemon yellow, all around the painting there, as you can see. I was in my mind, I was thinking, okay, those little dots can be maybe like fireflies or they can be stars. I wasn't sure yet. And then down below, I figured it can be kind of like a part of the green leaves of the vine. So that's what I'm doing down there. I'm adding more of that permanent yellow, lemon yellow, because it mixes pretty nicely with the ultramarine blue. Then I decided to go ahead and add some of that yellow to the tips of the sun there. I'm just trying to brighten stuff up. And the sun was dry when I was doing this. Then I thought, okay, while that stuff dries, I'm going to work on my owl. I wanted the owl to be a really light color, kind of like a white owl. So I wet the owl. So this is wet on wet. And then I took a really light mixture of the ultramarine blue mixed with that Quinacridone Rose. And it's super light. I'm just adding little like interest, like shadows and what, I think the owl will look like. I didn't really know in my mind what the owl was going to look like. I kind of did this all on the cuff. And I do that with these owls sometimes because, I don't know, I just like doing that. Maybe I'm crazy. Call me crazy. But I just like to, I don't plan too much when I do these owl of the months. I have an idea in my mind, but I don't sketch it out. Like, the details of the owls and stuff. So now I'm taking off, that was all dry. And I wanted to take off the masking fluid and work on that vine. So here I got Sepia, Winsor & Newton. And I'm taking my dagger brush and I'm just trying to kind of go over some of those white areas that I masked with the sepia. Kind of trying to create a look of a vine, kind of like a branch. Basically, it's more, I should say it's more of a branch with a vine kind of growing on it. Since honeysuckle is one of the flowers of the month in June, I wanted to incorporate it into this painting. And so is rose. Rose is another flower for June, but I thought maybe I should do rose too, but I thought, well, I don't want to go too crazy, so I just did honeysuckle. So then I took a really light wash of the sap green and put it in the eye with a little bit of the ultramarine blue. And now I'm just taking a mixture of the colors on my palette, which is mostly the ultramarine blue and the Quinacridone Rose, maybe a little bit of the lemon yellow, even a little bit of that dusk pink. And I'm just adding details to the owl. Really light details and colors. So yeah, just kind of figuring out what I'm going to do with this owl. As you can see, I do like to use circles and dots a lot. There's a mixture of the yellow with the Quinacridone Rose for the beak. And then I decided to add a little bit more of that Permanent Lemon Yellow to the vine. Trying to create the look of honeysuckle. Honeysuckle, I know there's a lot of like ones with yellow and pink and orange. So that's what I was doing there. Trying to create the look of a vine with honeysuckle. And I added, that's the, what you see there, that's the Quinacridone Rose that I added with that yellow. Now I'm going to work on the owl some more, and that's the sepia. Sepia is actually the darkest color that I use as far as watercolors go, because I do come in later with some pens, which you will see. I have a gold pen, a white acrylic pen, and then a white gel pen and a black marker that I will be using later. Now I thought, okay, it's time to break out my Posca pen. Oh no, sorry, that's my gold pen. Yeah, outline. It's just a gold, kind of like a felt tip pen actually. It's not a gel pen. And I'm using my Posca pen to add some swirls and dots. And I took my black marker to outline the sun there, give a little bit of a contrast. And then clean up my owl with my Posca pen, the outline of my owl. I had a little bit of paint in there, so I wanted to whiten it up. And then I'm adding a little bit of white highlights to my honeysuckle flowers. And there's my gel pen, adding dots. So I'm using my black marker there to accent the eyes of the owl. And I'll also be coming back with my white gel pen and the Posca pen also to add a little bit more details to the eyes. So if anybody has any ideas out there that they would like to see for the July owl of the month, just comment on the video here and just say, hey, if you have an idea for July. I have a couple ideas in my head, but it would always be fun to get some other people's ideas, what they might think for July would be cool to incorporate in my owl painting. I'm just adding some details with my gel pen. I almost forgot the claws, the talons. I added a little bit more eyelashes. And that was it. So I hope you guys like this June owl of the month. And please like and subscribe if you haven't. I hope you enjoy this video. And like I said, I have the other owls of the month. I'll put those on a playlist. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.